Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GMAT out of this book here, the GMAT Review, the official guide. If you do not own this book, buy it immediately. You will find it at mba.com. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 177, problem solving, number 183. Let's take a look at it. Read the problem with me. It'll be easier for you to follow it. It'll be easier for you to follow my work if you have the book in front of you. It says, 1/2 of the air in the tank is removed with each stroke of a vacuum pump. You're pumping out the air, and with each stroke you are removing 1/2 of the air that is in there. Whatever the air is inside the pump, you're removing, whatever the air is inside the tank, you're removing 1/2 of it. The question simply is, what fraction of the original air has been removed after 4 strokes? Let's take a look at it. Well, the very first thing that if you've been watching my previous clips, you probably by now that very first instinct, very first urge that I have is to look at the answer choices and get rid of the answer choices which make no sense. My intuition, my rationale, my thinking tells me that this and this answer make no sense, and usually there are 1 or 2 like that. Not always, but usually there are 1 or 2 answer choices that they throw in, which, when you think about it, make no sense. So cross them out right away so that you don't end up making some predictable mistake and end up picking one of those answer choices. For example, here, each stroke removes half the air. So first stroke, I'm going to remove half the air from whatever the air was in the tank. I'm going to remove half of it. And the second stroke, I'm going to remove half of what was there at the end of first stroke. At the end of first stroke, half of the original air was left. And when I do the second stroke, I'm going to remove half of that, which tells me that by the time I do 4 stroke, obviously I'm going to remove more than half the air because I'm removing half the air just on the first stroke. That tells me that these answer choices are ridiculous. The question is, let me write down the question here so that we know what the question is asking. It says, what fraction of the original amount of air has been removed? I'm just going to write down how much air. How much air has been removed? How can you, the answer to that question, how can it be 1/16? There are people there who are going to sit there and say, well, you're going to remove 1/16 of the original air after 4 stroke, which is silly. You're removing half the air only on the first stroke. This is nonsense. You're not going to remove 1/8 of the whole air. The question is, how much air has been removed? This makes no sense, because you're removing half the air only on the first stroke. This is silly. Let's talk about this one. This would have been a correct answer if you were only doing 2 strokes. No, actually this also does not make sense. What am I thinking? You see how easy it is to make a mistake? How much air has been removed, to which the answer is 1/4 of the total air? No, that's silly. That's idiotic. I'm removing half the air just on the first stroke. That's silly. Because I got confused between removed and remaining. But anyway, we won't go there. Let's find out. Let's figure out. The answer has to be either A or a B. But you can see in both cases how much air has been removed. This is almost equal to 1, which means by the time you're doing 4 stroke, the tank is almost all empty. And most likely that's the answer. It's either this or that. It's this one actually. We'll see. So here are my 4 strokes. And here what I'm measuring is the amount of air remaining. Let me write down here. So here I'm measuring, what I'm going to show you is the air remaining. Not the air removed, but the air remaining. First stroke, second stroke, third stroke, and 4th stroke. After I do the first stroke, the amount of air that is remaining in the tank is 1/2 of the original. After I do the second stroke, I take out half of that amount. Half of half is 1/4, which is this. Half of half, which is 1/4, which is basically half squared. Half times half is 1/4, because I'm going to take out half of the half that was there. When I do the third stroke, I'm going to take out the amount that's going to be remaining is going to be 1/8 of the original amount. Because on the first stroke I remove half of it. On the second stroke I remove half of the remaining half. I'm down to 1/4. I'm down to 1/4. When I do the third stroke, I'm going to remove half of that amount. Half of 1/4 is 1/8. So if I remove 1/8, the air remaining is just 1/8, which basically is 1/2 to the third power. The amount that is going to be remaining in the tank after the fourth stroke is going to be half of this amount. Half of 1/8 is 1/16, which is basically 1/2 raised to the 4. So this is the amount that's going to be remaining. This is the amount that is remaining after the fourth stroke. This is how much is remaining. Since 1/16 is remaining, the question is how much has been removed. Let me change the color. The question was how much has been removed. Answer to this question is this. Since this much 1/16 is remaining, that tells me 15/16 must have been removed. That's it. That's the answer. A. That's all. C, D, and E make no sense. How much air has been removed? How can you say that 1/4 is removed? You're removing 1/2 only on the first stroke. Give me a second. I hope you understood it. I hope it was logical to you, the explanation. I hope it was easy to follow. And that's about it. So don't sit there and do all the problem and then look at the answers. So always look at the answer choices first. Use your rationale, use your logic, and cross out the impossible answers. Because you know otherwise what's going to happen? There are going to be a lot of people who are going to pick this answer, 1/16. And these are not the people who do not understand the question. They understand the question perfectly well. But they're confusing between what is removed and what is remaining. The question is, how much has been removed? They confuse how much has been removed with how much is remaining. At the end of fourth stroke, this is what is remaining in the tank. And if you do not pay attention if you do not pay attention to the wording, you'll end up picking. Let me read one more time the punchline. What fraction of the original amount of air has been removed after the fourth stroke? Not what fraction of the original amount remains. They're not asking you how much remains. This is how much remains. That's why people who will end up picking 1/16 is not because they don't understand it. They understand it perfectly well. They know what's going on, but they're not paying attention to the wording, which is why I get the ridiculous answer right away. Because if you think about it, logically it makes no sense. They're asking you how much has been removed. You're removing 1/2 of it just on one stroke. This is silly. So if you can cross out the impossible answers right away, you're less likely to make the predictable mistake. They expect you to make this kind of mistake, which is why this answer is there. Get rid of it right away. I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to buy my videos in which I show you the solutions to all the math problems in the GMAT, in this book, the book that I showed you in the beginning, or if you wish to hire me for personal private tutoring, in either case, go to my website at www.prep4gmat.com and send me an email. Alright? Thank you.